Welcome to ABC31 News tonight. I'm Scott Beadle. The Rapides Parish Police Jury meets this afternoon, officially recognizing the Rapides Parish Coliseum Authority. This latest development is our big story tonight. After SMG took over management of the Coliseum, the authority was dissolved, but about 98% of the Coliseum's employees have stayed on board. The meeting also approved 2 agenda items. A meeting will be held on October 9th to consider adopting a resolution calling for an election to be held to reauthorize a tax for the Rapides Parish Health Unit. And they approved a special election in March of next year for the position of Alexandria City Marshal. Speaking of which, following the arrest and resignation of former Alexandria City Marshal Terrence Grimes, the interim marshal was sworn in today. Chief Deputy Ricky Rochel was sworn in at the Alexandria City Courthouse by Judge Richard Starling to assume duties as City Marshal, and Rochel was already employed by the City Marshal's office, but says he's assuming this new position is a new world for him.
After 23 years of hard work as a deputy and then a chief deputy, I think I finally get my time to, just show the public what I'm about. The special election will be in March, and I do plan on running, and I ask the public to just, look at the progress that I make in the office and judge me accordingly.
Rochel hopes to bring improvements to the community during his time as interim marshal, and that his efforts will help him assume the position permanently after that election in March. Fort Polk remembered the 16th anniversary of the September 11th attacks today with a remembrance ceremony. Those who lost their lives were honored, along with the Fort Polk soldiers who made the ultimate sacrifice since that day. Corporal Jarrett Thomas II, Fort Polk's garrison commander, was the keynote speaker for the ceremony.
Back in 2001, I was actually a captain in the United States Army, serving in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I was attending a school at the time, and fortunately for me, I was at home with my wife, and we happened to see the planes, contact the tower on that day, and we knew at that time our history and our lives would change dramatically over those years.
Local musician David Locklear performed his original piece of music titled Remember When after the opening of the ceremony. The ceremony also included an invocation, the national anthem, and a ceremonial wreath laying. And the rest of the country is also remembering the events of that day. President Trump started the day with a moment of silence at the White House. ABC's Emily Rao reports from Washington.
As the bells tolled in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, once for each person who died on Flight 93, President Trump spoke to a crowd of families and employees at the Pentagon.
Here on the west side of the Pentagon, terrorists tried to break our resolve. It's not going to happen. But where they left a mark with fire and rubble, Americans defiantly raised the stars and stripes.
The president and First Lady Melania beginning the day on the south lawn of the White House with a moment of silence at 8:45 a.m., the time the first plane hit the World Trade Center. And at Ground Zero, relatives of the nearly 3,000 people killed on 9/11 began the annual reading of the names of their loved ones.
My uncle, Rescue 1 firefighter Gerard Terrence Nevins. We love you and we miss you every day.
I wish more than anything that I could have met you.
The ceremonies marking 16 years since those 4 hijacked planes hit the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a Pennsylvania field on September 11th, 2001. The first time native New Yorker President Trump is observing 9/11 as president.
On that day, not only did the world change, but we all changed. Our eyes were opened.
Well, we have enjoyed some beautiful weather for our Monday. Let's get the latest on our forecast now from meteorologist Ross Whitley.
More beautiful weather on the way as well. We will be slowly building the heat back as we go later into this week. But today, 83 degrees officially. We should be around 90 for this time of year, so get out and enjoy it. We got a couple more nice days on the way before that heat starts building back. Hopefully, we're not going to be anywhere near where we were in 1905. That's a long-standing record there at 100 degrees. But last year, we were around the average and expecting the averages to return. So summer not quite done. Of course, I'll have the details on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Ross. A Pineville man is arrested by Alexandria police for allegedly exposing himself in a store on North Mall Drive. 40-year-old Robert Henry is charged with obscenity. Officers say he exposed himself to a woman and a teenage girl who screamed during the incident. Store security called police, who say the suspect appeared to be drunk. September is Suicide Prevention Month, and the Louisiana National Guard hosted a Fearless 5K and Health Expo in recognition. The event was held at Forts Randolph and Bulow State Historic Site on Saturday to raise awareness about suicide and find veteran and community resources. This was the second annual Fearless 5K hosted by the Louisiana National Guard. More than 100 people laced up their shoes over the weekend to take the Great Stride Walk for cystic fibrosis. ABC31's Shar Thomas has that story.
Each year, more than 125,000 people participate in walks across the country to raise awareness about this rare genetic life-shortening disease that makes it difficult for patients to breathe. In the 1980s, the life expectancy of people with cystic fibrosis was no more than 14 years old. During that time, many people lost loved ones due to the lack of medication and treatments. Billy Moore, an Alexandria resident, lost his daughter Katie in 2008, and he says with the advancing research, there will hopefully be a cure soon.
As I understand it, when my daughter was born, the life expectancy was 13 years old. Now it's almost 40. Because of the contributions and the donations and the research, they've developed so much medicine now and therapy that they're living a longer and better life.
The life expectancy has increased tremendously over the years. Now people who suffer from the disease are expected to live more than 30 years. However, many people surpass that age and live longer as researchers discover better treatments. Unlike Katie Moore, children who suffer from the disease have a chance to live a longer life, like 2-year-old Kerrigan Lacasse. Kerrigan's mother, Leah Lacasse, says she wants others to be aware of the disease, and that is why she is taking the Great Stride.
We want others to be aware of what this disease is and how we can help to find a cure, hopefully.
The Sinlaw community is assisting with the search for a cure. Ann Ossaker, a member of the family touched by the disease, says a cure is near.
And they're working on actually correcting the actual gene and telling it to go tell all the other genes to fix. And we're not stopping until we have a cure for all.
The Sinlaw Great Stride Walk raised more than $44,000. Shar Thomas, ABC 31 News.
The Four Seasons Bowling Center invited area youth out for a day of fun. The bowling center plans on making it an annual event, too. Staff members reached out to several local churches to get the youth involved. They provided a laser tag, t-shirts, a concert, rock wall climbing, and of course, bowling. The kids got to make new friends and enjoy a positive atmosphere.
That the owners really wanted to try to do was to bring the local youth together and create this event locally where everyone at Sinlaw could come together and worship and just have a unity in the community.
The Living on a Spare event turned out to have a better turnout than initially expected. More than 50 people registered, but as the day went on, even more joined in. Hurricane Irma has moved on from Florida, but not without leaving her mark, especially in the southern part of the state. Millions have been left without power, and many are anxious to see what's left of their homes. Marcy Gonzalez is in Tampa with the story.
Today, flooding in Charleston, Savannah, and breaking records in Jacksonville. What was Hurricane Irma now moving north. While Floridians statewide start to assess the destruction left by this giant storm.
We got a lot of damage, a lot of cleanup.
Neighborhoods like this one in Naples underwater. Mobile homes, airplanes, even the front of this senior living center torn apart.
It's unbelievable.
Trees uprooted, this one in Bradenton taking part of a house with it.
It's just an incredible sight.
The first images from the Keys, where Irma made its initial U.S. landfall as a Category 4 yesterday morning, now coming in, showing houses barely standing, cars buried beneath sand. With bridges closed, residents who evacuated are now trying unsuccessfully to get back.
Very anxious, and we all just want to go home and see what's going on.
Irma's second Florida landfall on Marco Island.
Look at this, total whiteout now.
Leaving damage and gratitude.
We were getting predictions that we're going to have 10 to 15 feet of storm surge. and we're grateful that we were spared.
A sentiment shared by so many in the Sunshine State.
It was not as bad as I thought it was really going to be.
Even while Florida's largest power company, FPL, says as many as 9 million people at one point today still had no electricity.
No power, no internet. I mean, we're living like savages.
Yeah, Trying to have a sense of humor as crews from as far away as California work to get the lights back on for everyone, but people are being warned it could take weeks. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, the Keys really taking the brunt of that one.
Yeah, absolutely, and then making landfall down in southwest Florida as well. And, luckily for the eastern side of the state, really spared of the worst of the storm, but the western side of the state didn't fare so well, and a lot of widespread damage all across Florida, all the way even up toward the Panhandle. Of course, here locally, we're dealing with some effects of Irma as well. We'll have some cooler temperatures thanks to it as we go throughout the day tomorrow, and cloud cover not as thick as it was today, and we'll still have a few clouds around tomorrow. But unfortunately, you see the graphic there showing heat building as we work back into the end of the week, and we're just a few short days away from the official start of fall, and it's not going to be feeling much like it. Of course, I'll have the details on maybe when fall will return coming up next. Hi, I'm meteorologist Ross Whitley. Our radar and satellite pretty clear out there, but you can see just off to our east, what's spinning around down out there is actually Tropical Storm Irma still. It will be slowly weakening as we go throughout the rest of this evening into the overnight hours and likely downgrade to depression here soon. But still some breeze conditions out there, some breezy conditions, some gusts, and we'll even see some cloud cover as we work into the day tomorrow thanks to Irma, but we're not actually going to get any rain from this, and it'll actually keep the temperatures down just a little bit, as well as keeping things quite nice and dry. And of course, our high temperatures out there today, not too bad. 83 degrees here in Alexandria, 80 in Natchez, Monroe at 80 degrees, Natchitoches at 80 as well, and all of the state really enjoying rather fall-like conditions, and we're going to have at least another day of that. Overnight tonight, dropping down into the 50s once again, 58 degrees, mainly clear and cool. The cloud cover going to be pretty limited. Winds staying out of the northwest around 6, maybe even up to 10 miles per hour. No chance of rain tonight, but as we work into tomorrow, could see a sprinkle or two. Pleasant tomorrow with sunshine, some clouds, of course, all high clouds out there thanks to what is left of Irma at that point in time, and then mostly sunny and pleasant as we go through the rest of the week, but the heat and the humidity slowly making a return as our winds will shift back to out of the south. Really no rain to speak of in the forecast, but unfortunately we're going to have that south wind bringing the Gulf moisture back to us. Irma is going to be just off to our east and eventually moving northward, but the rain and wind shield associated with that be all across Tennessee, northern Alabama, northern Georgia, northern Mississippi as well. Moving out, but because of the rotation around it, actually pulling down that cooler, drier air out of the north, and of course that means one more nice day for us before the heat and the humidity return. Now eyes do shift in the Atlantic to Hurricane Jose. Really not going anywhere fast over the next few days. You can see the time period here as we get into Thursday, basically in the same point that it is now. Likely, I think that this thing will probably cut itself off and die. But if it doesn't, if it happens to maintain some kind of strength and spin out there, then we could be looking at a hurricane headed toward the East Coast by Friday. Of course, we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Hopefully that thing disappears. We don't need any other hurricane affecting the U.S. at all. 77 degrees, forecast high tomorrow, absolutely beautiful. A little bit of cloud cover out there, but other than that, partly sunny and pleasant. And our 7-day forecast knows the heat returning back to near normal for this time of year, 90s by the weekend, and possibly a thunderstorm or two around as we work into next week. That's a look at your weather and your 7-day forecast.
Well, thanks for watching ABC 31 News. Have a great night.
Stay connected with KLAX ABC 31.
Visit us online anytime. Get today's top stories and trending topics. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. See our pics on Instagram. Watch us on YouTube. And make KLAXTV.com your home for local news and information. Plus, download the KLAX weather app for your smartphone or tablet. Get live current conditions, radar maps, alerts, and more. More ways to stay connected with KLAX TV.
ABC31 KLAX, the exclusive provider of ABC programming in Central Louisiana. We are the only station where you can watch new, first-run ABC programs like Dancing with the Stars, Designated Survivor,
Strike the Enemy,
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's can deliver.
Damn right. Hi, I'm Michael Bailey. Call me at the number on the screen. See how easy and affordable television advertising can be.